Team Fortress 2's training bots are weird in a lot more ways than you'd think. They get stuck in random places, struggle to aim at other players or bots, struggle not to aim at players and bots, have old school movement, only use stock weapons, and don't get me started on engineers. Originally designed after the success of Left 4 Dead's AI, Valve introduced the TF bots, a simple form of AI used throughout Team Fortress 2. As the technology was still in its infancy, TF bots could only play on King of the Hill maps, being Viaduct, Sawmill, and Nucleus. You might be watching all of this and question, why does any of this matter? But I think TF bots, like any form of AI, could be very helpful for people. However, because TF bots aren't real players, there are a lot of workarounds in their system. For instance, after a demo dies to a sentry, they will then auto-target and destroy said sentry with some of the wildest stickies I've ever seen. There are a lot of weird features like this with the bots, but generally the worst problems by far is the way the bots move. Snipers really just stand in random spots for no apparent reason. Even worse, a majority of the time bots won't group up, instead opting to run straight into sentries or the enemy, making for a pretty accurate match of casual TF2. TF bots are used for a lot more than just training. Halloween bosses and enemies and the recent Krampus boss are all siblings of TF2's training bots. Now that we understand how weird TF bots are, I want to explain why they're so weird. TF bots work on the same system as the AI in Left 4 Dead. They're called Next bots, a type of AI used in Source games. The important fact about these bots is that they use navigation meshes to move. Navigation meshes outline every surface that can be walked on and what surfaces lead to one another. You can even see navigation meshes on a majority of maps simply by using nav_edit1. If a map doesn't have it, just try nav_generate. However, I do warn you, do not do this when you have bots on the map. While a lot of maps have navigation meshes, many more have broken meshes or just can't have bots at all. TF bots specifically have an added layer over their generic brothers. They have difficulty levels. The levels of easy, normal, hard, and expert that you can set in training mode indicate the reaction speed, aim proficiency, hearing range, and a number of other variables for the TF bots. SigSev has done some amazing research, bug fixes, and modifications on the bot system in TF2. If you want to understand more of the systems at play, I highly recommend starting with his Steam guide, TF Bot Skill Levels Explained in Excruciating Detail. SigSev was able to learn these details through analysis with NextBot commands. You can view where NextBots are going, what they're thinking, and what they're looking at with a number of console commands. So let's find out for ourselves why bots do all the things they do. I mentioned earlier, snipers get randomly stuck on maps. Why? I have no clue. However, according to their behavior, they're scanning the surroundings. My guess is that since it's within a certain proximity to the payload, they decided this would be a good location to set up and scan the environment. Why are engineers constantly rebuilding on Hightower? Well, technically payload race doesn't work with the bots. Humans most of the time can't even figure out how to actually defend the payload and race against the other team, so how would bots be able to? You might be watching all of this and question, why does any of this matter? But I think TF bots, like any form of AI, could be very helpful for people. Upgrading the game's training and bosses would never hurt. But I haven't talked about arguably the most interesting potential use of TF bots. Skial is a well-known server host with a long history in the TF2 community. Skial utilizes AI for AFK players. The reason? Player count. Unlike casual matchmaking, community servers can't just feed people into a server that has lower populations. Botigure, Skial's owner, decided to utilize AFK bots to help keep servers full. While the AFK bots still need some work, if Valve put in the effort to build upon the original TF bots using today's technology, they could put in place replacements for players during the mass exodus of lost rounds. And Skial isn't the only server to implement bots either. Arena server Auk made an entire video about how and why he implemented bots into his own Arena server.
Arena is not much fun with low player counts, so what's a server owner like me to do? Well, there is one obvious solution. While you're waiting for the server to fill up, give the players that are already there a few bots to play against.
Auk created MVM enemies to fight on his Arena server. I think it's a really interesting fix to a common problem for community TF2 servers. I don't think it's entirely a necessary fix, and bots in general are a mixed bag. On Skial specifically, there are a ton of discussions about removing bots, changing them, or their presence in general. However, there is another amazing opportunity in upgrading the TF bots, a man versus machine update. Saying TF2 hasn't gotten an update in a while is like telling you that there's a handy thumbs up button you can press below if you've liked this video so far. But MVM has waited even longer for an update. After 2 cities, MVM has been long waiting for new maps to be added to its game mode. And I think upgrading the bots is the perfect platform for updating MVM as a whole. I want to talk about 3 new man versus machine bots that I would add to Team Fortress 2.
Oh my god, I saw that.
Trolldier is a staple in TF2 and showcases one of TF2's most iconic game mechanics, rocket jumping. Yet, when you play with bots, whether in training or in MVM, you won't see much rocket jumping. There are a number of issues that come into play when teaching a bot to rocket jump. Look at humans, for example. When you watch a new player compared to a veteran rocket jump, you can clearly see how advanced a number of mechanics are. That being said, SigSev did begin development on a rocket jumping bot in 2016, and I was able to find a couple videos and plugins with rocket jumping bots. I don't think this would be an easy bot to implement by any means, but it would be worth the work. Trolldier in casual games are like mosquitoes flying around. Sometimes they might get you, but most of the time you just smack them away. But having a swarm of Trolldier bots propel towards you would be such a unique sight, and I'd love for it to exist. As a more technical point, I want to state that these bots shouldn't be able to carry the bomb and wouldn't take fall damage. I also think man treads are a staple of Trolldier, however, their effect would be super annoying in MVM, which is why I would argue it's probably best to leave the boots for humans. I love Engineer. Turtle Engineer, this? But by far, my favorite is Battle Engie. Whether I'm dishing out revenge crits in the front line, passing out munitions to my teammates with an aggressive dispenser, or mutual combat with my mini-sentry, I'm always having a blast as Engineer. But the Engineer bot in MVM sucks. So how do we consolidate Battle Engineers into an MVM bot? It really isn't that simple. I mean, Battle Engineer is a mindset much more than a simple loadout change. Widowmaker, Pistol, Gunslinger. This is Battle Engineer. Not some silly debate, but a much more philosophical Turtle Engies. Build gun, kick ass, get kills. I think this MVM bot could be a really fun opponent, and I even think a giant Battle Engineer variant could be a real and viable threat in MVM. I don't know the balance of MVM very well, but I think the thought of an infinite ammo gigantic engineer bot running towards me would be scary as hell, especially if it's got a few medic bots attached to its rear. Being one of the newest weapons in Team Fortress 2, the Dragon's Fury is a unique alternative to the flamethrower. Even more so, it can be a unique alternative for the Pyrobot. This is probably the least unique of my suggestions, but also the easiest to implement. There are really a plethora of MVM bots that could be simply made by utilizing different weapons. Obviously, there are hundreds of unique combinations of MVM bots that could be made, and there are some great discussions online and even a huge compilation of MVM bots on Steam guides. MVM in general has some great community additions, and I think it could be a realistic and easy way to update Team Fortress 2 today. The bot crisis is well known, but the catastrophe that is TF2 training bots is less known. With janky and outdated systems, these bots are long overdue for a refresh. And while this could manifest as simple as a training update, I think an upgrade would be best utilized in man versus machine. While my video is just a drop in the ocean of suggestions and ideas for TF2 updates, I think an MVM update would be a great change for the community. It offers Valve a way to update the game without updating the actual state of balance, and as well, it's a great opportunity for Valve to make additional money by releasing new weapons and new tours. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to ask you a favor. Would you subscribe? I just graduated college, which means I'm actually looking for a job now, and while I plan to continue making videos no matter what, reaching monetization will make it much easier to invest time and money into YouTube. If you would be so kind, please subscribe. Thank you all for watching. It genuinely means the world to me, and bye for now. By the way, if you have any questions about what resources I used, how I found certain information, or anything like that, you can find a link to the paste bin below. Also, feel free to ask questions in the comments. Legitimately, bye for now.